What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew to go with you through round 11's nomination. No, Victor, when it comes to Nuff of the week. And this week, I've been seeing such a negative sentiment in the last 10 to 12 days in particular. I've seen a bit of it internally within our own Hoops Crew team this week. It goes to the clowns at Kayo. And I'm sure anyone who has subscribed to Kayo has seen this sometime in the last couple of months, at least once, if not multiple times, because the video's just crashed. Or maybe you've seen this. Or maybe you've seen what some of our rugby league supporting friends have seen, which is some of this, as I, with the wonders of the internet, make it work. Look at that spinning wheel. And then chugs again. And then a little more spinning wheel. Oh, that is high quality sports coverage right there. Now, let me not get too carried away here. As an AFL consumer, I love the product that Kayo is putting out there, that Foxtel is putting out there. The Fox Sports team do an amazing job covering the footy, and I much prefer them to most of what is going on at Channel 7 these days. But the actual streaming component of their service, which is becoming an increasingly large component of the service these days. People don't want to go back to the cable box. They can throw Hubble out there all they want and try and disguise it as something else, but we can all see through the bullshit. We know exactly what that service is and how it's their attempt to kind of pull the wool over our eyes and get us subscribing for crazy amounts of money over long stretches of time, as they've always done. Kayo is like this sweet spot for sports consumers where you can go and check out your favorite sport, whether it's AFL, NRL, whether it's a lot of what I'm doing at the moment through the middle of the week being the NBA, where it's playoff time. Luka Magic they're now 3 games up. Dallas. It's such an amazing product in principle. We can just check in with any of your favorite sports at any given moment. But the problem is this sort of crap. The stuff you're seeing on the screen here, the video network error, whatever playback errors they've had here, extreme load times, or ridiculous ads, which of course we know is something that's kind of going on the Foxtel side of it as well. Like we know that those who are tuning in via cable are getting it as well. But like it's crazy. People are paying huge sums of cash to subscribe to these services, to get access. And we'll hone in specifically back on the football again. So they're paying exorbitant amounts of money per month, $25, $35 if it's Kayo. I don't want to look to see what the subscription price is for Hubble/Foxtel these days. But they're crazy sums of cash to check out their favorite sport live, whatever it happens to be. And of course, there's so many games that are stuck behind the paywall these days. You might access your Friday night, your Saturday night, and your Sunday game on 7, but then you're getting all these other games that are tucked away in corners where you won't ever get to see them. And it's ridiculous. And the AFL needs to look at that significantly. But beyond that, like in the climate that we're in, regardless of how we got there, this is the climate that we're in. And so you would hope that the number one digital broadcaster of the game would do a better job than this, but they're not. We're getting these sorts of errors all the time. And then as I was combing through product review to kind of compile a few screenshots, I discovered this. And I don't know how clear it will be for people, especially if you're on your phone. I apologize. But this is a screenshot here of an email response that we'll call him friend of the show, Cameron. Don't know who Cameron is, but good luck to you, sir. Received from Kayo. This is the 17th of April that he's been juggling this. So it's a couple of weeks old now. But this was a response that he'd gotten from the complaints operations lead, Roxy, over there at Kayo. He'd gotten a voucher and he was expecting to get the high quality product. Isn't. And I'm hearing more and more stories of this sort of thing, of people unsubscribing and then still getting charged. I'm hearing stories of people getting charged multiple times in a month. They are gouging people for money right now without much sympathy whatsoever, and they're putting on a shit service. And that's the problem. I think most people, and I'll speak for myself, but I feel like a lot of other people would be more than happy to pay the $25, $35 a month for their streaming of live sport. And it's not even every game. I have found recently, thanks to Ben, that some of the NBA games that weren't being streamed on Kayo, just by having a Sportsman account and a couple of dollars in it, you can actually get a very low resolution, I'll admit, version of the game that you can kind of watch without having to pony up a cent, which is nice. So I just tossed $5 in the account and watched some basketball, which was great. And I can just tap in whenever I want, which is awesome. I love that. But it's a much inferior product to even what Kayo is putting on. The problem is there's so many errors associated with this platform. One error that I find, and I don't get much of the buffering, and that my internet's great these days. That's awesome. I don't get much buffering. I don't get too many of these other errors that that we've scrolled through so far. I don't get much of that buffering again from before. But what I have been getting is this loop that it kind of gets stuck into. For some reason, it hits like some wall, and maybe it's like a weird buffering wall for a split second. So then I'll rewind. Maybe I'll try and break my way out of this. I'll go live. No good. I'll try and rewind my way out of it, then play myself back through, then jump to live when I can. It hits this same moment and it loops, and it just loops and loops and loops. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some amazing basketball shots that have been replayed back to me in those moments. I get to see them 7 or 8 times, but that's what a YouTube social media reel is for, to see these amazing things on a loop. I don't want it from my live sport. I'll watch these things when I want to, or when the host broadcaster determines, hey, let's go back and look at that amazing moment. Kayo, your service is shit and you're doing it all the time. I think about this weekend, and I was, as I mentioned, was kind of chatting with the Hoops Crew team, and the chaps were jumping in there and talking about they had, and I'll see if I can scroll back and find it, but there was about 6 crashes of the streaming service by quarter time or thereabouts. It was absolutely insane. The service is not up to snuff, and people are paying a lot of money for it. So can we please ask for a bare minimum? Make it work. We'll then kind of visit the other important topics around how Kayo works, because they're also taking us for a bit of a ride when they talk about some of their 4K coverage that they've recently added, which at first I was like, oh, brilliant. My internet will handle that and there won't be any issues whatsoever. And then I saw the product, and what I've come to realize, and I think most of the not so tech savvy people, and sorry, I'm not meaning to be offensive, but if that happens to be you, you're not necessarily the most tech savvy person in the world. Promise, I say this with love, but you may not be aware that they're absolutely lying to you there as well. So they'll claim that this is 4K, but take a good look at the difference between the UI, and what I mean by that is the user interface. So, how the scores might get presented on the screen, or any other graphics that appear, like overlays, things that appear on the screen. I'll look at all the players and all the numbers they're registering, disposal counts, whatever it happens to be. Look at those, and they're really high quality. They fit the 4K definition. Then go and look at the game that's being presented. Now, I think this is most stark when it comes to AFL, but I've noticed a little bit when it comes to the NBA, and they proclaim to be, shooting 4K and those sorts of things. And I'm sure those who are beaming it directly into their homes without the need for internet streaming or any of that sort of stuff, or maybe just, don't have some bullshit provider like Kayo at the helm, are getting an amazing service. But we are getting something lesser. It's an SD signal, maybe an HD signal if we're lucky, passing through a 4K carrier to make it look like it's 4K, but it's not. And they're advertising it's 4K, but it's not. And that's bullshit. We're paying more and more for this service. It goes up. The cost of living is going up. We are paying more for this service, at least year on year. It feels like. And yet we still get the crashes. We still get the myriad of other technical issues, the buffering, all those sorts of things. And we're not even getting the service that we're promised. It's insane. It's not good enough. So Hubble, Foxtel, Kayo, step up your act. We're sick of it. And the thing that's worse is that you're really the only option for us for the most part. And that's I guess the more sobering, depressing part is I can sit here and I can scream and shout until my lungs are sore about how shit the service is. But at the end of the day, where am I going to go? Am I going to miss, 5 potential games of football on the weekend because There's nowhere else to go. It's free to air television, or it's this. We don't have alternatives, and that's crap. I'm over that. So if we could start, writing in, making a big fuss, get on social media, hit up their customer service lines, go after them, highlighting how bad this service is, there might be some scope for change. It gets said all the time in my video game bubble that I'm in, vote with your wallet. And it's as much as it's relevant in that video game space, it's relevant here too. If the service is poor, if you don't like what you're getting, cancel it. It might be hard. There's plenty of ways around it, dodgy ones. Go check those out if you need to. Not condoning anything AFL. Watch football responsibly. But you've got options out there. Explore them. Go and watch the replays on the AFL app afterwards. Like, grit your teeth, push through, and then go check it out that way. Make a statement by not giving him your money. Anyway, Cats fans, football fans, I hope you're with me here in the stand against Kayo, because it is an absolute shit service. And it seems like we're all fighting different fights with the platform, which is even worse because we can't just get together behind the buffering, because maybe it's not buffering for me, but maybe it's more crashes for the chaps, or maybe it's this weird loop thing that I get. Like, there's so many different problems with this platform, and it's not okay in 2024. Every other streaming service can get their act together, works no problems. Look at what Netflix is doing and just do it. Anyway, we'll wrap things up there. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to check out all of the awesome content on the Hoops Crew YouTube channel. Subscribe. There's some awesome stuff that you'll find. There's more Nuffs of the week. I've been dunking on everyone this year so far. Haven't missed. Trying to do it with a smile on my face and love in my heart, despite the fact I might be taking the piss out of some of you. Check out all of the awesome other content from the chaps chat cats, and their weekly previews and reviews. We've got post game live that we do. There's a whole behind the play, of course. New guests coming all the time there. Check out all the awesome content on the Hoops Crew. Thank you to Valhalla Brewing. I still can't get it right. Valhalla Brewing, for the amazing beers that you provide the team and the sponsorship that you've afforded us. Go check out all of their awesome stuff as well. Cats fans, remain Geelong strong, and I'll see you later.